What it do, YouTube? Your boy LTD back at it again with another one. And today I'm finna be checking out WrestleMania, the real reason why WWE released the New Day. That's a problem. Roman Reigns lying, wrestling news. And boy oh boy oh boy, as if y'all didn't hear about the news yesterday, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, the New Day, are no longer with the WWE. And that is a damn shame, because the New Day, they were arguably one of the longest tenured superstars in the WWE, especially Kofi Kingston. He's been there for damn near 20 years, since my childhood. And I really thought he was going to be WWE for life. So was Xavier Woods. But that wasn't the case, as they both left WWE because they really didn't have no creative plans for him. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, WWE really fucked their whole heel run up. Like, for real. Like, they had something right there. As soon as they turned on Big E, they were getting nuclear. I mean nuclear heat. Like Dominic Mysterio level type of heat. And they should have capitalized on that. But WWE still found a way to fuck that shit up. And it irritated me, because they had gold right there. And yes, they captured the tag team titles in a pretty underwhelming match at WrestleMania last year. But other than that, man, they really didn't do nothing else other than pairing with Grayson fucking Waller. That was it. Other than that, they dropped the ball with the New Day big time. And the New Day was like, you know what? We had enough. Or I don't know if they released them or they just left on their own terms. I don't know what's going on. But we're finna find out right now. Make sure y'all go subscribe to WrestleMania. And without further ado, let's chill and relax and let's get started. This should be an interesting one right here.
What's going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the real reason why the New Day exited WWE. There is a huge problem right now. The truth behind NXT releases. WWE staff member released after 25 years. Roman Reigns was lying. Solo Sikoa and Big E.
That is crazy. All these long tenured superstars or people just work for the company in general, they're just leaving WWE, or they're just cutting ties with them. That is insane. 25 years with the company.
Releases, a wrestler announces retirement after 27 years, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. And now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Now, our first story looks at the real reason why the New Day exited WWE. Now, as we reported yesterday, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have mutually parted ways with WWE just months after renewing their contracts in September and October 2025.
Like, literally.
As surprising as that is, the real reason behind the decision is now becoming clear. According to Brian Alvarez, whose report was also backed by BodySlamNet and Fightful, the split stemmed from contract negotiations tied to TKO Group Holdings. The New Day were actually approached about restructuring their existing deals under the new TKO terms, but the proposed changes were ultimately declined. We can also confirm that in the case of the New Day, it was their decision to leave based on what TKO was offering for a new deal.
Oh, so it was their decision.
New Day's deals were not up. They were asked to restructure to TKO deals. They didn't like the deals, so they were then granted their release. That clarification is key. This wasn't about the contracts running out, but a disagreement over new terms under the TKO structure. Now, as part of the exit, both performers are now expected to be under a 90-day non-compete clause. But doesn't it sound a little dodgy that TKO are now asking talent to restructure a contract that they only recently signed? A contract is a contract at the end of the day, isn't it? Why agree to the terms in the contract in the first place? And as we'll see next, this could lead to a very huge problem in WWE. However, attention is already turning towards their next move. According to PW Insider, there's a lot of excitement in AEW circles about the New Day coming into the company. There's a belief that the Young Bucks and the New Day could finally face each other after years of teasing it. And the teasers weren't subtle either, as the Young Bucks once had in their social media profile
one day
that they
we'll
will
wrestle
beat the
New Day and
ring.
everyone will
Apparently can go from
rejoice.
0 to a complete site.
Yeah, man. Hurry up, Ed. Get out of here, please. We got a video to watch.
The Young Bucks even retweeted their 2019 Being the Elite AEW announcement saying, "Let's change the world." And you know exactly what that means, right? Yeah, AEW Fight Forever 2 will be coming out soon. No, of course not. This is definitely an indication that the dream match between the Young Bucks and the New Day will certainly happen. But this is actually crazy.
Hey man, I'm all down for him going to AEW, but I really hope they find success elsewhere, just like how they did in WWE. But but I was obviously right. Obviously, they did leave on their own terms because they felt like they really wasn't getting the contract that they deserve. Like they just signed new deals, and they felt like they needed like a contract from TKO, like they needed like a new deal from them. But to be fair, bro, TKO doesn't give a damn about the tag team division. Let's be honest. They dropped the ball with the tag team division completely. Like it's been basically an afterthought. They basically brung in those brand new, good looking tag team titles. Well, the Raw side of things, but the SmackDown tag team titles were so damn good, bro. And they failed to capitalize on that for some odd reason. I don't know why, but I hope they find success elsewhere, man. And I'm all down to see a New Day versus Young Bucks because they basically been sending shots at each other. So, hey, I'm down to see that match. And I hope they do find success in AEW if they choose to go there.
A huge problem within WWE, as a clearer pattern is now starting to show when it comes to WWE's recent roster moves, and it all points towards a business-driven shift under TKO Group Holdings. Earlier, Brian Alvarez mentioned that contract restructuring discussions were taking place with wrestlers, and now Tim V from Bodyslam.net has managed to add some more clarity. What's being reported is pretty straightforward. TKO is asking certain talent to restructure their deals, especially those who aren't heavily featured on TV or may have hit a creative wall. There's also a focus on older, long-tenured names who are on high-paying deals but are not being used consistently, which naturally puts them under more pressure in this situation. And Booker T even explained why veteran WWE wrestlers are often the first to be released, highlighting how experience alone doesn't guarantee job security. He pointed out that the wrestling industry is constantly evolving and roster discussions are largely influenced by current relevance and star power rather than longevity.
You know, I mean, not that I couldn't do anything with Aleister Black or anything like that. It's just that we got so many people to do stuff with. Especially right now, we got so many people coming up to do stuff with. You know, just the influx from
pretty
NXT.
much.
And then you look at a guy like, and that's what guys got to understand is if you're not the mega star, the top five, you could have a problem, because one thing about guys that's been around for 10 plus years and they're not in that top five, and these young guys are coming in, who do you think they're going to be looking to remove? I remember the cuts because I felt like I was one of those guys that was selling tickets. I felt like I was one of those guys that was moving the needle. And the thing is, you may not have to move the needle too far. You just may have to slightly move the needle in order for the company to say, we know we making money with this guy.
We got a commodity here.
Pretty much.
According to Booker T, one of the main issues is a growing number of younger talents entering WWE. As new performers rise, companies must decide who offers the most value moving forward. And this often puts long-time wrestlers at risk, especially if they're not among the top performers. Simply put, it doesn't matter how long you've been in WWE, you're always at risk. Based on that criteria, opens the door to speculation.
It doesn't matter how long you've been in WWE. If they don't see you bringing them this or bringing them some type of attention, it's not a guarantee that you're going to stay in the WWE. And that's how they do. They show favoritism at times, especially like Booker T said, for the top 5. No pun intended. Top 5 wrestlers that are out here moving merchandise and making it a global phenomenon. Of course, they're going to favor them over all the other guys. Yes, they're going to get a push here and there, but they're going to be stuck where they at. Just doing basically the same thing and then a bunch of nothing until you get future endeavored. Like, that's what TKO is all about. Making the money. That's what it's all about.
Around names like Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, Bianca Belair, The Miz, and Natalya, not as confirmed cases, but as examples of talent who fit that general profile. And while all of this clearly ties back to budget decisions, it also brings up a bigger question. How is TKO actually doing financially, and are these moves really necessary? According to BJ Bethel of USA Today, the key factor here is labor cost control. Even though TKO is in a strong position with stock around $200 per share, they're still focusing on tightening margins. Talent costs are estimated between 10 to 16%, which is low compared to other sports leagues, but is higher than what TKO wants internally. This could even indicate that TKO are even looking at bigger wrestlers like Roman Reigns to restructure their deals. TKO Group
Yeah.
Holdings is actively reviewing how much it's paying talent versus how much value they're getting in return. If a contract feels too expensive for the role the wrestler currently has on television, then the company has two main options: either renegotiate the deal to lower the cost or release that talent altogether. Also, the
Like,
roughly
literally.
$4 billion in debts adds another layer. It doesn't mean that the company is struggling, but it does mean that there's pressure to keep expenses tight and cash flow strong. Still, that's not the main reason behind these moves. The real driver here is simple. Labor costs are higher than what TKO wants internally, and everything we're seeing right now is about bringing that number down and maximizing profitability.
Whoa.
Oh my
What's that?
god,
I
these
just wasn't
ads.
building out
Good
from base
lord.
24. Guys,
Killing the damn vibe.
There are
And I
theories
know,
that
get
TKO is
YouTube
doing
Premium.
this in order to make
but
the company
not
look
right now.
attractive for selling. However, that's just a rumor. There's been no confirmation that TKO wants to sell the company already. However, what was the truth behind the NXT releases? And while main roster departures are tied to annual budget cuts, that doesn't appear to be the case with the recent NXT releases. According to Brian Alvarez, the cuts are instead connected to internal talent evaluations, specifically whether performers are meeting developmental expectations within a set time frame. The NXT
Yeah.
cuts are said to be more talent evaluation cuts as opposed to anything budgetary. This happens pretty frequently. So far, around 10 names across WWE's developmental system have been affected, but a few cases stand out. Tyra May Steele, Olympic gold medalist, who'd won WWE's LFG series and was being positioned for a move to the NXT roster before her momentum stalled. Dave Meltzer pointed to performance concerns as a key factor in her release. This reasoning lines up with comments from Bully Ray, who noted that while she was an elite athlete, she wasn't grasping the business or showing enough character development during her time in NXT and Evolve. Meltzer also weighed in on two additional releases, Carly Bright and Zarina Linton, both of whom have been actively featured in LFG-related programming before being let go, once again tied to performance concerns. All those released talent are currently under a 30-day non-compete clause set to expire on May 24th. Next up, WWE
Oh,
staff
wow.
released after 25 years. The
Oh
WWE's
boy.
ongoing shakeup is no longer limited to on-screen talent, as longtime staff members are now being part of the conversation. Gavin O'Shea, who served as director of TV production, has confirmed his departure after 25 years with the company.
That's
Sharing
a
the update on
long-ass
LinkedIn,
time.
O'Shea reflected on a career that spanned decades behind the scenes. After 25 years, losing my job wasn't part of the plan. For those memorable 25 years at WWE, I've seen, heard, and experienced it all. After all, I grew up there, made friends, and learned by doing. Like many people, I tied a piece of my identity to what I do every day. So when that suddenly changed, it felt unsettling, humbling, and honestly, a little scary. But here's what I'm learning in real time. Your job is something you do, not who you are. Setbacks can create
Yeah.
space for better opportunities. Resilience isn't a buzzword. It's a skill you build through moments like this. With a 25-year tenure on the production side, O'Shea stands as one of the longest-serving WWE staff members to exit during the current round of cuts. There's also speculation that TKO Group Holdings may be replacing WWE lifers with executives from the UFC side or its broader corporate structure. This comes as a completely classless move, and it's a sign that the company is
Yeah,
prioritizing
pretty
monetization over the people who help build its identity. It only worsens the case of corporate greed and really raises questions as whether
Thank
anyone is truly safe under the TKO era. Next up, Roman Reigns was lying. During the
Uh-oh.
post-match press conference after WrestleMania 42, Roman Reigns
Yep.
addressed the crowd's
I
part-timer
seen this
chants
on X
head-on.
earlier.
All this part-time crap, we're gonna fix that. Y'all better make some room because y'all gonna see my ass all summer. However,
Yeah.
that was just a ball-faced lie. As according to Corey Hayes of
Obviously.
BodySlam.net, Reigns is no longer advertised for the June episodes of WWE Raw. A whole month. Currently, the reason remains unclear. However, those dates in June
Oh,
specifically
bro.
are all international
Oh,
dates. Could it
brother,
be that Roman
man.
Reigns simply doesn't want to travel for all these international events? Will he still be at the Night of Champions PLE? This all seems to
Who
line up as the
knows?
promotional graphic for June's Raw no longer features Roman Reigns. But after publicly committing to a more consistent schedule, it just feels like Reigns was just lying out of his ass. Next up, AEW
Yeah.
star reacts to releases.
Or TKO made him lie out of his ass. Like, come on, man. They just said that just to get people just to come to these shows to think that Roman is coming. Y'all not
With
slick.
AEW already being linked as the possible next destination for the New Day, Tommaso Ciampa shared a heartfelt message about Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Ciampa focused on Kingston's journey, noting that despite everything he's achieved, he has remained the same person throughout. He also praised both men as not just great performers, but genuinely special people. He would close his comments by expressing interest in what comes next for them, and hopefully they will meet again in AEW. Next up, Solo Sikoa
down
reacts to
for it.
releases. Less than a year into his debut,
Yep.
JC Mateo alongside
MFTs
Tongaloa
as
were
well.
released, marking a huge shift within the group. Shortly after the news surfaced, Sikoa took to Instagram and shared a photo with Mateo and Loa, calling them family forever. Sikoa hasn't forgotten that the group really helped define this version of the bloodline. Loa and Mateo played key roles during that stretch as acting as enforcers and supporting Sikoa's leadership as the story transitioned away from Roman Reigns into a new phase. But with key members now gone, the future of the group depends heavily on how WWE Creative chooses to reshape things moving forward. Are we just going to have a three-man team of the MFTs? Or are all three going to be turned into single stars instead? Next up, Biggie reacts to the New Day release.
Yeah, who knows, man? Because to be honest, bro, I really wasn't that invested in the MFTs like that. Like, to be honest. Because, no offense, listen, Tonga Loa, he's definitely funny. Definitely one of the more comedic wrestlers out there. Obviously, not on purpose. But, yeah, man, you're a legend. Shout out to Tonga Loa. But Jacob Cobbs, though, or JC Mateo, wherever the hell his name was, yeah, he was not that interesting at all. Not at all, man. He had no type of charisma. Like, the crowd really did not care about this damn group. The only one that they really cared about was really Solo. Like, to be honest, man. He was really the only one that brung some type of personality. Everybody else was just bland as hell. Like, that was it. That's why I was not that invested in this group. It was just basically a bootleg knockoff of the Bloodline, but except the Jobber group. That's why they were stuck in catering during WrestleMania season. Nobody did not take them serious whatsoever. At all.
And more reactions continue to come in following the
See what
departures
Biggie
of Kofi
gotta
Kingston
say.
and Xavier Woods, as Biggie took to Instagram and shared a quiet but powerful message on Instagram that spoke volumes without a single word. He posted artwork showing Kingston and Woods walking away, Woods leaving behind his King of the Ring crown,
That's tough.
and Kingston
That's
leaving
tough.
his New Day gear in an alley, paired with the song New Day, kinda symbolized an end of an era. Given everything that the trio built as the New Day, the moment carries some real weight. This wasn't just another faction, it was one of the WWE's most successful groups, defined by years of
for sure.
championships, standout matches,
One of the greatest
and a
tag
genuine
teams of
friendship
all
that went
time.
beyond storylines.
Or
Now with
factions
Kingston
of
and Woods
all
gone,
time.
Biggie remains the only member still under the WWE banner. Next up, a former WWE star was never considered for the WrestleMania main event. Ted DiBiase was part of the Legacy faction alongside.
Yeah.
Picked a great name,
Oh
but your
my
voice
God.
doesn't quite match it?
We have a fix.
VoiceMod gives you over 100
Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes was actually in Las Vegas during WrestleMania weekend and even filmed reaction content tied to the show. However, despite the history, he was never actually factored into the storyline leading into the main event feud. According to Fightful Select, WWE did not seriously consider bringing DiBiase Jr. into the program at any stage. Even with his direct connection to both Orton and Rhodes, the company viewed the storyline as complete without him, and didn't see his involvement as really necessary, which is a big shame. Next up, Bayley forms a new alliance.
We got
in
Pat
AAA.
McAfee.
Now, after showing up at Raider Ray, Bayley made another appearance during the May 9th tapings of Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide, and this time she's arrived with a clear purpose. The segment initially focused on La Catalina, who picked up a win in her first AAA match, but the spotlight didn't last long, as Bayley walked out right after, and instead of setting up a standard one-on-one, she aligned herself with La Catalina and Lola Vice, forming a new trio on the spot. Their target was clear, as it was the same group responsible for costing Bayley the Reina de Reyes championship back in March. Bayley, alongside Vice and Catalina, took the fight to them and stood tall in the ring, sending a strong message ahead of what's coming next. With both sides now evenly matched, AAA has officially set the stage for a multi-women faction showdown heading into Noche de la Grande. And finally, a wrestler announces his retirement after 27 years. Now, our final story today looks at Trevor Murdoch, who's officially brought in his in-ring career to a close, marking the end of a 27-year run in pro wrestling. The NWA confirmed the news following Murdoch's appearance on NWA Power, as after competing, Murdoch remained in the ring for an interview with Carl Davis, where he made it clear that his time in wrestling has reached its final chapter. I'm not sure if I can do this anymore. I've been wrestling for 27 years and I've seen guys that are coming here and they're only here for a payday. They don't give the fans what they deserve. And I always told myself that if I ever got to that point, I wasn't going to be that guy. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass my family. I don't want to embarrass Harley Race. I'm announcing my retirement from pro wrestling. I want to thank the fans. Because of you guys, I've been able to put 2 of my kids through college. It's all good, you know what I mean?
That's what's
For
up.
a fat guy from a small town, 27 years ain't bad. Before closing, Murdoch also acknowledged Billy Corgan for giving him an opportunity at the time where his future was uncertain. His retirement brings an end to a career that began all the way back in 1999, one defined by championship success and a deep connection to the legacy of Harley Race. But there you have it, folks. The wildest news stories are
Hey man, be with your family, bro. You did what you did. You've been wrestling for 3 decades, man. Hey man, respect to you, brother. But yeah, man, this was an interesting video. Hold on, I'm finna go ahead and get this video a like. But yeah, man, real unfortunate to see the New Day leave WWE, because I really thought they were gonna be WWE for life. But like they said, things will not go as planned. So I hope they find success elsewhere, and I hope they carry on that greatness all the way to AEW or TNA or somewhere. But yeah, man, and also the MFTs, the JC Mateo and Tonga Loa, hope they find success elsewhere. Yeah, and also the guy that also got released after working there for 25 years. Yeah, man, you really hate to see people lose their jobs, especially their dream jobs. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. So I hope all these individuals find success elsewhere, and I wish them none but the best. But comment down below what y'all think about this video. Make sure y'all like, subscribe to my channel. This your boy LTD signing out. Peace.